Ikawalo po ng Mayo, araw na naman ng Sabado. Isang araw bago sumapit ang Mother's Day. Araw po ng ating mga ina ng tahanan, ang ating tanglaw ng pamilya. Kaya po sa mga magse-celebrate bukas ng Mother's Day, ang aking ina, si Rita, at of course, lahat po ng mga ina sa buong mundo. Happy Mother's Day po sa inyo lahat mula sa amin dito sa Power and Play. Sana maging makabuluhan ang ating paggunita ng Mother's Day. Huwag lang tayo maging super spreader event. Huwag po tayo masyadong maglalabas at hindi pa naman talaga gaanong ligtas ang ating kapaligiran. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat, mga kapatid. Welcome muli sa Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, at ng Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Nako, gusto ko pong batiin lahat po ng ating mga nakatutok ngayon sa pamamagitan ng Radyo 5, 92.3 News FM. Magandang umaga po sa mga biyahero, yung pong mga kaibigan natin, mga kasama natin, mga uri na manggagawa na ngayon po ay papunta sa kanilang pinagtatrabahuhan o di kaya ay may mga mahalagang pupuntahan. Magandang umaga po Naimbag na bigat sa ating mga kasama dyan po sa San Esteban, Ilocos Sur, and of course sa Urdaneta, Pangasinan, and of course lahat po ng mga nanonood sa pamamagitan naman ng 1PH sa Signal TV. Naimbag or rather maayong buntag po, lalong-lalo na sa Cebu City at sa Cagayan de Oro City. Magandang umaga din po sa lahat ng mga nanonood sa pamamagitan ng Facebook Live, ng 1PH, Radyo 5 at ng Power and Play with Com Noli Iyala at ang mga nakatutok po sa The Noli Iyala YouTube channel. Boxing, basketball, MMA. Naku, dami po natin pag-uusapan ngayong araw na ito. As usual, mga balitang pangpalakasan at mga impormasyon na inyo pong makukuha sa ating palatuntunan. Marami pong developments. Of course, ang pinakamalaki dyan ay ang pag-aproba ng IATF sa pagbabalik ng practices ng PBA. Naku, dahil dyan, siguradong papunta na tayo, konting tulog na lang, papunta na po tayo sa muling pagbabalik ng inyong paboritong liga. And hopefully, ito po ay magaganap sa susunod na buwan. Alam niyo po, sa totoo lang, nakausap natin si Commissioner Eumir Marcial, pero yung po kanyang interview ay siguro gagamitin natin o uulitin po natin sapagkat marami naging development kahapon lang. Kaya po, titingnan natin kung next week ay ating muling makakausap si Commissioner Eumir Marcial. Pero mamaya kikwentuhan ko kayo doon sa mga aming naging huntahan. Samantala, of course, bagamat wala pang maraming aksyon sa mga basketball court, sa mga fields, marami naman pong balitang nangyari sa linggong ito. At kaya po, ito ang ating mabilis na buod ng mga balitang pampalakasan this week sa ating sports highlights. Lunes, sinabi ni Senador Manny Pacquiao sa isang online interview na umaandar na raw ang negosasyon para sa kanyang susunod na laban. Pero tipid pa sa detalye ang senador, kaya marami ang napapaisip, sino kaya ang makakalaban? Ang pagre-retiro sa boxing, kailan na ba niya balak? Pag-usapan natin yan mamaya sa Fast Take. Martes, pinasaya ni Kiefer Ravena ang maraming Pinoy basketball fans nang kanyang sabihin na bahagi na siya ng Jordan brand. Si Ravena ang kauna-unahang Pinoy na pumirma ng endorsement deal sa naturang sneaker brand. Ang nasa likod ng brand na yan, walang iba kundi ang the greatest of all time sa basketball, si Michael Jordan. Miyerkules, inanunsyo ng Philippine Ascals na magsisimula sila ng training camp sa Qatar. Ito ay bilang paghahanda para sa AFC Asian Cup qualifiers na gaganapin sa Hunyo. Sa ngayon, 17 buwan o halos 1.5 taon nang nakatenga ang Ascals, kaya't gagamitin nila ang training camp para mapaghandaan ang kanilang international meets. Biyernes, inextend ng Japan ang state of emergency sa Tokyo at sa iba pang rehiyon hanggang sa katapusan ng buwan. Ito ay dahil pa rin sa COVID-19 pandemic. Kaya naman ang marami nagtatanong, paano kaya nito maapektuhan ang paparating na Olympics? Pero dito sa Pilipinas, may konting pag-asa. Biyernes din ng payagan ng Interagency Task Force o IATF ang mga koponan sa PBA na magsimula na muli ng kanilang practices. Pero sa GCQ o MGCQ areas lang muna. Kaya ang plano ng liga sa Batangas ang mga practice. Hindi lang PBA dahil pati ang SBP o Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas ay pinayagan na din ng IATF na maging host ng final window ng FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Gaganapin yan sa Hunyo sa Clark, Pampanga. Naku, napakagandang balita yan para sa mga basketball fans. Yung pong FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers, 8 kuponan yan. 8 dahil dalawang grupo yan na pupunta po dyan sa Clark, and it will be certainly a treat na makita natin muli ang high caliber international basketball dito po sa ating bansa. Of course, ang PBA, may mga plano na pong mag-practice muli sa Batangas. Abangan natin ang magiging anunsyo ng PBA tungkol dyan sa kanilang planong yan. Isa pa, of course, na nagpapatuloy ang mainit na aksyon ay ang NBA. Ngayong araw pong ito, 10 laro ang nasa schedule ng NBA dahil patapos na po ang regular season ng NBA at painit ng painit ang paghahabol ng playoffs o yung upuan sa playoffs ng mga koponan. Kaya po ngayong araw na to, ang ating pupulsuhan ay tungkol po sa NBA. Sinong team o player ang inyong inaabangan sa NBA playoffs? Ulitin ko po yan Sinong team o player? Kagaya ng mga tila LeBron James o Kevin Durant o Luka Doncic, sinong player ang inyong inaabangan sa NBA playoffs? Kung gusto niyo pong makilahok sa aming talakayan, sa aming huntahan, mag-post lamang ng inyong komentaryo sa aming Facebook page, Power and Play with Noli Iyala, o di kaya sa 1PH o Radyo 5 92.3 News FM, o kaya ay mag-text sa aming hotline 0949-691-4956. At amin pong babasahin mamaya yan, yung inyong mga komentaryo. Of course, mamaya din po ay pag-uusapan natin ang NBA kasama ng ating madalas na makasamang Spin.ph columnist si Homer Sayson para himayin ang NBA playoffs. Mamaya din po makakausap natin ang ating middleweight Olympic boxing hopeful na si Eumir Marcial. Naku, ang dami niyang nasabi sa atin kagabi na dapat po ninyong abangan. Mamaya din po ating makakasama ang head coach ng San Miguel Beermen, si Leo Austria. Ito po ay tungkol naman sa kanyang magiging reaksyon sa naging anunsyo ng PBA na magsisimula na ang practices ng mga koponan. And of course, kamustahin po natin kung ano ang nangyayari sa San Miguel Beermen. Live po si Leo Austria mamaya po. Makakausap din natin po mamaya ang one heavyweight champion of the world, si Brandon Truth Vera. Mamaya po yan at ang kanyang napipintong laban next week, laban kay Arjan Bhullar. Yan po ang ating pag-uusapan maya lamang. Pero syempre, sa pagsisimula po ng Power and Play, tayo po ay laging nagiging buena mano ang ating Fast Take. Ito po ang segment natin kung saan ang opinion po ng ating mga kasama sa hanap buhay, ang sports media, ang mahalaga. At ngayong buong araw na to, tayo po ay sasamahan muli. Mga balik fast takers ito. Sila Denison Dalupang ng Philippine Daily Inquirer at si Ian Suyu ng Daily Tribune. Magandang umaga. Ian and Denison, thank you for joining us today.
Magandang umaga, Com.
Yan, magandang umaga, Com, and thank you for inviting us again.
Always an honor and privilege to
nakakatuwa. I always like talking to you guys na mga talagang batang-batang mga journalists at napakaraming very resourceful. Una-una, let me ask you, siguro, Denison, excited ka na ba sa muling pagbabalik ng PBA?
Of course, Com. I mean, any semblance of normalcy during this tough times, very welcome po yan, Com. And I can't wait kasi nga parang double the treat since we're about to have yung FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers on top of the PBA resumption of practices. So at least papunta na tayo doon.
Yun nga, papunta na tayo doon. It's the first step towards maybe starting the season. Ian, ano sa tingin mo general sentiment around the league? Tama lang ba na simula na uli ang practices? Bagamat alam naman natin hindi pa masyadong bumababa ang mga kaso natin dito sa Pilipinas ng COVID-19.
Definitely, hindi pa nga bumababa yung cases natin significantly, pero given yung approval ng IATF, I think lahat ng teams, lahat ng players and coaches talagang ready na or very excited, no, na bumalik na sa actual practices. Kasi nga naman hindi enough yung online training lang, no, and kung aim ng liga na mag-start by June, I think dapat talaga may actual scrimmages na nagaganap na as early as now.
Well, sabi nga ni Com Willian, at sinabi rin ni Coach Yengyao, kung hindi tayo magsisimula by May 15, medyo delikado ang schedule ng PBA. But we're so happy na nai-anunsyo na yan and hopefully ay ika nga makabalik na ang aksyon. Hindi sa labas ng court, kundi sa loob ng basketball court. Alright, alam nyo na kung anong yung gagawin dito sa Fast Take, Denison and Ian. Hindi na kayo bagito dito. Again, this is your time. Walang mali, walang tama. At of course, pato-pato sa langit. Tamaan, huwag magagalit. Ang una nating issue for the morning. Sinong atleta? Alam naman natin na si Kiefer Ravena ay binigyan ng isang endorsement deal ng Jordan brand, one of the most prestigious brands ng sapatos sa buong mundo na kinabibilangan, of course, dati ni Kobe Bryant at kung iba't iba pa mga player. Sinong Filipino athlete ang deserving din maging international endorser gaya ni Kiefer Ravena? I will begin with you, Denison. 1 minute. Go!
Top of the mind ko, unang-una sa lahat siguro naisip ko na pasok para sa Jordan brand is isang basketballista rin po. Pero in this case po, isa pong babae, si Jack Daniel Animam ng National University dati. And now, si Shin University, isa po siyang import ngayon sa Taiwan. Sa mga simpleng rason lang po ko. Una, she's been blazing trails sa basketball. She has been undefeated sa college and been able to replicate that sa Taiwan. She's taking up masters. She's a good ambassador for the sport. She's outspoken. She's charming. I mean, it ticks everything sa boxes na you can ask for any endorser or a brand ambassador. So I think Jack Animam is perfect fit for Jordan brand ambassador, especially now na yung era natin ay more inclusive na rin for female athletes.
What a name. Beautiful. Well said. Alam naman natin ang Jordan brand. It's all about skill. It's all about integrity of the athlete endorsing it. And Jack Aminam obviously ay merong taglay na ganyang mga characteristics. Same question para sa iyo. Ian, sinong Filipino athlete ang deserving na maging international endorser din gaya ni Kiefer Ravena? 1 minute, Ian. Go!
Interestingly ang naisip ko naman dyan si Eliza Valdez, mainly because she's the face of Philippine volleyball and maybe kilala din naman natin siya as a very good ambassador of the sport. And we also know na talagang international brand ng Jordan and it would be a great marketing strategy talaga maybe to boost the Eliza Valdez or the Philippine volleyball status dito sa Pilipinas kung siya yung mapipili. But also, isang another na atleta na naisip ko, though it's not specific, pero kung sino man ang mananalo ng gold medal sa Olympics, I think that would be a very great point or consideration, especially now na malapit na tayo, malapit na arm's reach na tayo for reaching the gold medal and marami tayong mga atleta na talagang kayang-kayang makaabot ng hinihintay nating medalya sa Tokyo. So I think yun, if not Eliza, then someone from other sport na mag-gold sa Tokyo Olympics.
Excellent. Well, kung si Eliza nga ang mapipili, can you imagine Kiefer and Eliza? Royal basketball sporting family. But what I like about that, Ian, is ang binabanggit mo ay mga non-basketball athletes. And that just speaks well of the kind of repertoire or lineup ng Pilipinas ngayon, no? Again, another person na nakikita ko, and I know the Jordan brand is now in golf, is Yu Casaso. Alamin,
Yes,
Yu Casaso is blazing trails, as sinabi nga ni Denison, and of course, she's now the face of golf, of Philippine golf internationally. All right, let's go to our second fast take issue of the morning. Alam natin na ang Tokyo Olympics ay napakalapit na. Subalit doon sa Tokyo, padami pa rin ng kaso. Although hindi kasing dami, no, sa ibang bansa. They have about 10,000 cases. Meron silang tinatawag na virus emergency, no, na dineklara nila doon, na dapat ay hanggang May 11 lang. Pero ngayon ay i-extend na nila ito hanggang katapusan ng buwan. Pabor ba kayo? Ito ang ating issue. Pabor ba kayo sa pagpapalaro sa Tokyo Olympics nang walang audience? Dahil nga dito sa mga nangyayaring ito, nagdesisyon sila, ayaw walang manunood ng mga laro. Do you think this is a good idea? I'll begin with you, Ian. 1 minute. Go!
Well, top concern talaga natin ngayon is safety. So I think it would be reasonable enough naman, no, na for the athletes to play behind closed doors. And also feeling ko yung mga atleta themselves, ine-expect na nila yan. I mean, hindi lang naman, from time to time ngayon during the season, yung build-up nila, nagko-compete na sila sa iba't ibang international competitions, which are also ginaganap din na closed door, so wala rin masyadong audiences doon. So virtual setup lang yung panonood ng mga tao, and I think yung mga atleta naman ngayon nakaka-adjust na sa ganung setup, and it's a risk, no, na kailangan dapat i-take talaga sa panahon ngayon in order to pursue, no, itong Olympics na ito. And nakakalungkot man isipin, pero yung Olympics ay naging nature na niya na talagang dinadayo, no, nagiging attraction talaga yan, centerpiece talaga yan pag dumadating ng ang scheduling niya. Pero ngayon, kailangan muna nating asikasuhin or i-prioritize yung safety ng mga atleta natin in order to continue with this international showpiece.
Very good, Ian. Alam mo, ako ay mapalad na kapunta sa ibang Olympiada. I remember, of course, very vividly kung paano nagiging involved ang audiences. Hindi lamang sa kanilang mga sariling atleta, kundi sa mga iba't ibang mga fans all over the world. Yung ba nagpapalitan kayo ng pins? That was part of the spirit of Olympism. And sayang at kung mawawala ang fans. But again, same issue for the morning para sa iyo, Denison. Pabor ba kayo? Pabor ka ba sa pagpapalaro sa Tokyo Olympics na walang mga audience? 1 minute, Denison. Go!
Commonly, without a doubt, I mean, it should be paramount for everybody na safety ng kahit na sino, whether it's the fans or yung athletes or yung mga mismong nasa front lines ng Olympic Games ang usapin dito eh. Kaya para sa akin, the less the people that will be in the venues, the better for us. You're talking about sobrang daming delegates from around the world coming into one place, and it has without a doubt a potential to be a super spreader event. So bawasan na natin yung risk, kumbaga. So I'm rallying behind that idea without a doubt, and baka pwede rin i-move natin. So for alam mo yun, para mas hitch free, kumbaga, yung takbo ng Olympiada by the time na pwede na.
Wow! Mabigat na take yan, ha? Ikalaw muli ang Olympics. Of course, alam natin na majority of the Japanese agree with you, Denison. May mga survey na sinasabi nila na mas mabuti pang muling i-postpone o di kaya ikalaw. But the IOC has said it's now or never para sa Olympics this year. So, tingnan natin yan, ha? At kung ano mangyayari dyan. Alright, our final take of the morning. Of course, ang usapin pa rin tungkol sa boxing. Alam natin na nag-anunsyo na si Senator Manny Pacquiao na maaaring lumaban siya muli this year. So ang tanong natin sa inyo, ano ang dapat na maging susunod na hakbang ni Manny Pacquiao sa kanyang boxing career? I'll begin with you, Denison. 1 minute. Go!
Unpopular opinion, and ika mo nga in your very own show dito, Kom, na bato-bato sa langit na huwag magagalit. I think the good senator should scale back siguro yung pag-entertain ng mga fights, and it's high time for him to parang fully focus on his task as a lawmaker. So that's being a senator. So ako naman po, wala naman po akong qualms on him taking up fights. Pero this is a time na ang kumbaga number one priority na is serving as a senator. So I think he should let this one go. I mean, he has long etched his name in the annals of the sport, proving himself as a legend, as an icon. So he's way up there, and I don't think there's any more na kailangan niya pang kalabanin, except for, I guess, Terence Crawford, but that's just me. So yun po, Kom.
Wow, I love it. Love it, Denison. Yan ang matatapang na mga salita. Alam mo, bihira magsasabing, oy, Manny, tumigil ka na. But, I'm sure many people share your sentiment quietly. Dahil ano naman, ang popular opinion lagi, lumaban ka na lumaban eh. But again, desisyon na yan ni Senador Manny Pacquiao. Same question niyan para sa iyo. Ano ang dapat na maging susunod na hakbang ni Senador Manny Pacquiao sa kanyang boxing career? 1 minute, Ian, go.
Same sentiment with Denison. I totally agree with him. Senator Pacquiao, yun nga, Senator Pacquiao na eh. So he should focus dun na sa ano niya, sa mandate niya for the government, serving as a senator and a lawmaker. And I think yun yung dapat na step, and given his age and supposed maturity, dapat mas maging aware na siya sa magiging decision niya. Considering na kung lalaban man siya, ay meron na siyang 2-year dry spell. Ang huling laban niya pa is against sino ba? Against 2019 pa eh. So medyo alanganin na, kumbaga he's turning 42 or nag-42 na ata siya, and the country is facing pandemic. So ang dami niyang dapat i-consider sa mga ganyang bagay, and considering yung bigat ng task niya ngayon bilang isang senator, and kung nagagampanan man niya, so dapat yun yung mga napaprioritize niya ngayon o yung mga naiisip niya sa ngayon. But kung gusto niya man lumaban, I guess passing the torch to Ryan Garcia, or maybe Bud Crawford, maganda ring choice yun. So, ayun.
Well, yan ang gusto ko, kaya ako kayo naiimbita eh. Ang tatapang ng mga ng mga opinion nyo. And I truly share it. Alam nyo, ako, the same manner, I love Manny Pacquiao. I saw him grow up. Nakasama ko yan kahit papano. Alam natin that he has more fights in him. Pero bakit? Why? Diba? At ngayon ay senador na siya. Nagsabi na nga siya, gusto niya maging presidente. Alam naman natin na ang rason kaya siya lumalaban ay dahil sa hanap buhay. At yun ay aking kinararangal. Sapagkat kahit papano, si Manny Pacquiao, alam natin na pinaghihirapan niya yung kanyang kinikita. So yun lang naman ang aking rason. But again, as you said, he is now a senator. He is looking at a higher position in government. It's time to concentrate on the task at hand. Maraming salamat sa inyong dalawa, Denison at Ian. Stay safe. At malapit na ang PBA, so I'm sure I'll see you around. Maraming salamat this morning for joining us.
Thank you very much,
Thank you po. Ingat palagi.
God bless you. Stay safe.
Yan po mga kaibigan ng ating mga kaibigan sa sports media. Denison Dalupang ng Philippine Daily Inquirer at si Ian Suyu ng Daily Tribune. Ako talaga naman, kita nyo, pag mga bata ang mga journalists, ang tatapang ng mga... Kasi alam niyo yung mga yan, talagang pure love for writing. Yan ang kanila. And that's why, these are the young people na dapat nating i-develop. Alright mga kaibigan, sa amin pong pagbabalik dito sa Power and Play, makakausap natin ang ating mga panauhin. Kasama na si Brandon Vera, ang one heavyweight champion of the world. Dito po sa Power and Play, hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement at ng Cherry Loom. Alright, nagbabalik po ang Power and Play. Siya nga pala, isang belated happy birthday sa aking matalik na kaibigan, si Arjan Del Rosario. Happy birthday, partner. Good to see you kahapon, ha? Sa golf course. First time ako naglaro ng golf. Nakasama ko po ating mga kaibigan. At this point, we're very happy to have with us, joining the show today, from the United States, and he's returning as a guest here in Power and Play. The one, the only, the one world heavyweight champion since 2015, Brandon The Truth Vera. Good morning, Brandon.
Good morning. Kumusta? Kumusta kayo dyan lahat? How's everybody doing?
Thank you so much for joining us. You look great. Kamusta ka? How are you?
Okay na okay. Getting ready to go train. Excited for the event coming up. Inaabangan na.
Yeah.
Cannot sleep anymore. Eto na.
All right. Let me ask you, you're fighting Arjan Bhullar on May 15 at ito ay gaganapin sa Singapore, the Dangal, one Dangal in Singapore Indoor Stadium. The last fight that you had was back in October of 2019. I know you went to the show, to visit us then. How are you handling the pandemic? How has the pandemic impacted your training, Brandon?
Training through the pandemic has changed a lot. I've had to since not move full-time out of the Philippines, but I've had to leave the Philippines during training camp so that I could find training partners my size. Ang hirap talaga magdala ng mga training partners dyan sa Pilipinas, especially with our quarantining and all of the rules going on in the corona world. So I had to go to Florida, opposite side of the world, East Coast na naman of the U.S., to continue my training. So if I'm not in the Philippines filming or working, doing any of our outreach projects, I will be in Florida training with available training partners and an amazing team at Sanford MMA.
How is your condition right now, Brandon, as you prepare for the fight against Bhullar?
Ang ganda. I have never felt this good since I started competing and started fighting. I feel like a little kid again, training with all of the guys and being able just to be a student of the game. So it's definitely something that I've been missing and something that's very welcome back in this part of my career.
Alam natin that you have defended the heavyweight championship that you have, the belt, since you got it in 2015. You have defended it twice. Unfortunately, in your last fight against Sang, you did not. You suffered a tough loss. What kind of lessons did you pick up in that fight against Ung La and Sang, and how is this going to help you in the coming fight?
I guess coming from a loss, you have to decide, and that's the hardest part, is how did you lose that fight? What happened? What could you have controlled and done different? And for me, biggest part was that I was in too much control. I needed coaches. I needed to be a student of the game again. So talking to Ung La Ung Sang after our event, after he successfully defeated me and kept his title at light heavyweight, I was thinking for my next heavyweight bout, I need to be in better shape. I need to be doing more and be able to return the belt to the Philippines and represent like a true Pinoy would. So I'm here in Florida after talking to everybody and I guess getting the okay, getting the yes that it was time to make a move, become a student of the game, and defend our belt for the Philippines.
Excellent.
No matter what it takes.
Well, we know that your move to Florida has been big for your fight, your career, and of course everything that you're doing, your conditioning. But there's also one thing that has come into your life that has given you more motivation and more zest, I suppose. And this is the arrival of your new son, Atreya Timothy, with your wife Jessica. How has this experience been for you so far, and how has it helped you in your preparations?
I guess nasa-stress ako talaga sa training and always thinking about Arjan and always worried about what he's gonna do and what's next, diba? And during camp, you never really get to turn your brain off, except for when you sleep, and even then it's limited kasi yung naisip mo bago ka matulog, pag bagong gising mo, lagi yung opponent mo. So for me, it's always Arjan. Barring all that, when I do get a chance to look at my son, or I get a time out to go hang out and play with Atreyu, I don't think about anything but playing with Atreyu. So ang saya talaga, ang saya na saya talaga. It's something amazing. I'm glad that I had a chance to become a father and wait this long, you know, in my career and in my life. I could have had kids earlier, you know, but now I think for me is the perfect time for me to be having a baby and sharing time in this corona world with our child.
Well, you know, it is a difficult time, but you know, having kids around, and of course now spending more time because we're all trying to stay home and stay safe is really, you know, a big benefit and a big plus. But when it comes to parenting, Brandon, let me just ask you a little bit: who's your role model in parenting? And you know, have you gotten any tips from anyone?
You know, I get a lot of tips from everyone. Like I watch everybody. I watch my parents, I watch my grandparents, I watch my brothers and sisters with their kids, I watch my cousins with I watch everyone and how they deal with their children. And I'm like a martial artist everywhere in my life. So I take the good and I throw away the bad. And I'm trying to make this giant compilation of good parenting skills from what I'm seeing and witnessing out in the field every day when we go out and about. So tingnan natin, you know, all you can do is try and try as hard as you can.
You know, the irony of things, and I know this for a fact, that there are many, you know, guys who are so big, so strong, so powerful like you, and we've seen this in the past. And yet, when it comes to handling the baby, a baby or a child, they're as meek as a lamb. And you know that's the beauty of life, really, Brandon. So let me just go back again to your fight here. You've moved your training camp, as you mentioned, from the Manila to Sanford in Florida, and now you are training there. Brandon, is this a permanent move that you're doing? How is your gym? I know that you have a gym in the Philippines. How is that going to be in the future for you?
So you know, I would say that this is part-time permanent at Sanford. I will be training here with my training partners until with my new family, you know, coming back and forth between the Philippines and Florida. The gym in the Philippines, Alliance Training Center, facility was built. The mats were there on standby. The mats are actually at my house now. And all of the training equipment was on order at the warehouse. We were supposed to open in March. Lockdown happened in March. So I honestly don't know. I don't know, Paul. I don't know what the Philippines is going to be ready for. You know, they're talking about giant gyms, giant facilities are only allowed to have quarter personnel working out at a time. That's not going to work. And our sport is a contact sport. And right now, there's no contact anything in the Philippines.
Exactly. Well, it'll be tough.
I really, honestly, hopefully be praying that we get to be able to bring Alliance Mixed Martial Arts Training Center to the Philippines.
All right.
I mean, it's kind of halfway there. But we have to see in how the world opens up in this corona world. Tingnan natin po.
Well, we're all obviously all hoping that you'll be back here. We'll see you again in the flesh. But in the meantime, we'll be happy just to watch you, you know, get into the ring. You know, Brandon, you are fighting a very difficult fighter, Arjan Bhullar. You've described him as one of the best in one championship. Do you like this matchup?
I love this matchup. You know, I signed this matchup a year, like, I think we're supposed to fight March, April, May. We're supposed to fight in March or May of last year. So there was a lot on the plate, a lot that was supposed to be happening. So me and Arjan have known about each other for a while. We've both been training and eyeing on each other for a long time. So I'm very excited for this matchup, and I'm glad it's finally happening.
What do you see? What kind of challenges do you see Arjan Bhullar bringing to the octagon when you meet him?
So I think Arjan in the circle is going to be giving me a hard time with his boxing, his head movement, and his wrestling. Like, I honestly believe those are his three biggest opponents. Sorry, his three biggest key, I would say, I don't even know what to say, scorecard, I guess, his big scoring components for him. And I will have to counter all three of them, you know? I've been saying this about Arjan for a while, and nobody's been listening. Everybody's worried about his wrestling, man. That boy's got good boxing.
All right. And are you? What is the game plan? Are you looking to go for a big stoppage here, or are you gonna stay away and just get to the judges at the end of the fight? What is the game plan for you, Brandon?
You know, I never ever talk about the game plan or how it's gonna go. I just tell you, make sure you tune in May 15th to watch us defend our belt.
All right. Well, that's good enough. I'm sure a lot of the Filipino fans are excited about this. Before I let you go, there are still huge COVID concerns, and of course, One Dangal features a host of Indian martial artists, no, who are going to be featured there. The atomweight Ritu, the Indian Tigress Pugat, and then of course many other Indian fighters, including Bhullar. How significant is this event, you know, for something that's happening like what's happening right now in India's situation?
Diba, you know, I think of this parang din sa ating bansa, like if something like this was happening to our Philippines, billions of people are being affected, you know, hundreds of millions are passing, or whatever the numbers are right now. India is going through a really hard time. This could be a light to shine on that darkness for India. So I'm glad to be part. I'm very happy to be part of One Dangal, and I hope Arjan brings it, because he could be fighting for his people.
Exactly, and you will be fighting for your people as well, Brandon. Before I let you go, you know, how much longer is Brandon Vera going to be fighting?
You know, everybody always asks me that, and I always refer to my elders, or the people who retired before me, and I always ask them, how do you know, when did you know you were going to retire? And their answer is always the same. They say, one day you're going to wake up and you're not going to want to be sore anymore. You're not going to want anybody to punch you. You're not want to get kicked in the leg anymore. And you're just going to be over it, and you'll know. And I always tell them, damn, man, I've been like that since I first started this. I don't like getting hit. I don't want to get kicked. I'm not a fan of training. So, man, when am I going to know? So all of them just tell me, Brandon, you'll know when you know. And hindi pa.
hindi pa nagsasabi. You haven't heard the voice, in other words. Well,
I haven't felt it. Yeah, I haven't heard it or felt it yet. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. You know, Brandon, I don't know if it's intentional, but the word dangal, I don't know if that is really called from the Filipino Tagalog word, but dangal means honor in the Philippines. One dangal. And that's why you are fighting for honor, not only for yourself, but for this country. And we wish you all the best, Brandon. We certainly will be tuned in for your fight against Arjan Bhullar, and we pray that you're safe and you'll be successful.
Maraming salamat, Kuya. Kababayan, maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Thank you very much. See you soon when we get back to the Philippines. Ingat.
Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat. Yan po mga kaibigan, ang ating pinagmamalaking one heavyweight champion, si Brandon Vera. At siya po lalaban sa 15 next Saturday, 15 ng Mayo, dyan po sa One Dangal sa Singapore Indoor Stadium, at ito po itatampok dito sa One Sports. Panoorin po natin at suportahan natin ang ating kababayan. Alright, at this point mga kaibigan, bago natin ipakilala ang ating susunod na panauhin, balikan muna natin ang ating mga best moments sa kasaysayan ng palakasan this week in sports history. Noong late 50s at 60s, Los Angeles Lakers at Boston Celtics na ang naghaharap para sa mga kampyonato sa NBA. Pero noong May 5, 1969, hindi lang basta tinalo ng Boston ng Los Angeles sa Game 7 ng kanilang final series dahil ang panalo na ito ay nagbigay kay Bill Russell at sa Boston ng 11 championships. 11 championships in that era, ha? Sa loob lamang ng 13 taon. That is domination, mga kapatid, ha? At hanggang ngayon, wala pa ring player ang nakakalagpas sa record na yan ni Bill Russell. Bill Russell and the Boston Celtics win 11 titles in 13 years this week in sports history. Wow. At of course, ang Boston ay patuloy po na naghahanap ng kanilang susunod na mga kampyonato. Ganon din ang Los Angeles. Pero mukhang namumroblema sila dahil sa mga kaganapan sa kanilang koponan at dahil din naglakasan ang ibang mga teams sa NBA. At pinag-uusapan po natin ang NBA, well, himayin na natin sapagkat palapit na po ng papalapit ang postseason o yung playoffs ng NBA ngayong taon na to. At ngayong pong araw na to, makakasama natin ang ating kaibigan, ang ating regular guest na NBA expert at of course correspondent ng Spin.ph. Walang iba kundi si Homer Sayson live from Chicago. Homer, magandang araw sa iyo. Good to see you. Naka-orange ka. Ano ba yan? Is that a sign about
New York Knicks?
No,
New York Knicks!
Sabi ko na eh. Well, you know, they're doing very well. But here, before I get to New York, you know, the biggest news last week, or this week rather, is yung nagsalita si LeBron James. Sabi niya, sino bang nakapag-isip nitong play-in tournament nito? Dapat ito si Santihin. You know, in so many words. Toot, toot, toot. May mga ganun pa. All right. You know, the play, first, before you react to that, do you think the play-in tournament has served its purpose? And do you think this will become a, it's here to stay para sa NBA?
Yes, it is here to stay, Commissioner. But it has to be noted para sa mga listeners natin that it's voted every year. So depends on what the owners and the governors are going to decide. Pero it's good for me personally and as a fan. I'm not speaking to you as an NBA expert. As a fan, it's very good. You know why? Because here's the deal. Number one thing I like the most about the play-in, Commissioner, is this. If this were 2 seasons ago, regular season, yung mga teams na nasa playoff na 5, 6, 7, and 8, they're gonna start resting their players. Because they have more or less already have an idea kung anong seeding nila. So it would be impertinent to put your starters in there or your best players kung alam mo na yung seeding mo. Because as LeBron always says, we don't really care as long as we're healthy. You know, itong play-in tournament, Commissioner, it is so invigorating as a fan. Kasi nakikita mo, Lakers have 6 games remaining. Normally, nagpapahinga lang si LeBron at si Anthony Davis even if given they were healthy. But now they're fighting tooth and nail. And if you're the Memphis Grizzlies, you're number 11, you're still doing your best because you're only 3 games away with 6 to go. So napakaganda, Commissioner. And then the biggest carrot, speaking of orange, I'm wearing orange, the biggest carrot is itong the romance, the excitement of a knockout game. Can you imagine, Commissioner, if the Lakers make or fall into the play-in, they could play the Golden State Warriors in a 1-game knockout match for the 7th seed for all the marbles. I'll take the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, yun ang best case scenario, Commissioner. That's why. So to answer your question, it should be here to stay from a fan perspective. But you know the politics in the NBA. If LeBron and the stars, you know, alam mo na, Doncic, Draymond Green, LeBron, they all said ayaw namin ng play-in tournament. And it's very hypocritical. Kagaya yon sa New Year's, Commissioner, na sabi nila, oh, maganda talaga ng fireworks, yung mga triangle. Yeah, it's good if you're not the one holding the firecracker. You know, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the play-in tournament. Maganda kung hindi ka kasali. But kung kasali ka, it's no good.
Nung una, of course, alam natin na ang si LeBron, sabi niya, baliwala as long as I'm healthy. Lately, siya ay nagre-reklamo na. Ganon din si Luka. Ganon din ang Mavs owner, si Mark Cuban. Sabi mo nga, si Draymond Green. And, you know, clearly, the play-in has done very well. Sabi mo nga, patuloy na nagbabakbakan kami na mahihilig sa Fantasy League. Nasisira ulo namin sapagkat at this time, usually, nagkukrus na yung mga stars.
Yes.
But then all of a sudden, they're still playing. So, okay, let's talk about the Lakers, Homer. We know that they have a tough game today. They're playing Portland in a crucial matchup. Right now, they're sitting in number 6, and Portland is number 7. But this could change very quickly. And Portland has a very good offense with their starting 5. Will the Lakers survive and make it outright, or is there trouble in Lakerland?
Very big trouble. Number one, this is a big game, Commissioner, considering that this is equivalent to 2 games. The same record ang Portland at Lakers. But if the Portland Trail Blazers win today, not only do they get a 1-game lead, but because they own the tiebreaker, it automatically becomes a 2-point lead, 2-game lead with 5 to go. But here's the concern for the Lakers. That's why I think, Commissioner, they will not survive this. Kahit na manalo sila sa, let's just say they beat the Golden State Warriors. Assuming they beat the Golden State Warriors in the play-in tournament, they're going to be positioned at number 7 at the very highest, So that means they're going to face either the Phoenix Suns and the Utah Jazz. And I don't think, with the full resources of the Utah Jazz, I don't think the Lakers can beat that. And here's the thing also, Commissioner. Nakinig ako ng podcast kahapon with Brian Windhurst, a good friend of mine of ESPN. And he told Tony Kornheiser na, he also covered football before he covered the NBA. And based on his interviews and with interviews with doctors and players, sabi niya, itong ankle sprain daw, high ankle sprain, is much worse than a broken ankle. Mas maganda pa.
Yung kay Lebron.
Yeah, high ankle sprain.
Oh.
And here's the explanation, yeah. And not only that, I just don't listen. I'm a conscientious fact finder. So after I listened to Brian Windhurst, I also called Bernard Condevo, who is the Chief Medical Performance Officer of the Detroit Pistons. So tinanong ko, totoo ba to, Bernard, na an ankle sprain or an ankle break, a broken ankle, is much better than a high ankle sprain? Anong sabi niya, Commissioner? In so many ways, yes. Kasi ang broken ankle, pag mag-break, you fix it, it's a fracture, you have a timeline, and that's it. But with itong high ankle sprain, Commissioner, there are so many variables kasi many parts ang considered. That's why look at LeBron.
Oh.
He missed 42 days, the longest in the history of his 18 years in the NBA. 1 game after returning, balik na naman sideline for 3 consecutive games. So it tells you, the medical staff is telling LeBron that this is no good because sabi kasi na-research ko din sa WebMD, the problem with a high ankle sprain, when you plant your foot on that leg, wherever the sprain is, there are so many weight forces, cartilages involved. Kaya si LeBron, he was really ineffective. And then another thing, Anthony Davis. Alam mo injury ni Anthony Davis, Commissioner? It was officially listed as a back spasm. But actually, he turned his ankle moving backwards kahapon. So after only 9 minutes, ito na naman, lower leg. When you always say LLG, hindi yan LG Samsung na life is good. Lower leg injury, not good in the NBA. That's why I'm not confident with the Lakers. Kaya nga sabi ko sa tweet yesterday, Commissioner, I'm here to deliver the Lakers obituary. Eulogy, I'm sorry.
Nakakaiyak yan dahil ang dami natin, alam naman natin, ang daming Pilipino sa California, of course sa Los Angeles, and maraming fans ang Lakers, and of course LeBron and AD, and talagang malaking problema para sa kanila. And of course the recruits that they've had, Drummond and Backlemore, they're not good enough for the style ng Lakers, and I think that's really hurting them as well. But let me go to another team. Let's go to the other side of the conference, the East. Boston and Miami, 2 teams that were prominent last season sa bubble. Now they play 2 games this week against each other, and they're fighting for their life as well dahil maaaring malaglag din sila sa play-in tournament. Are you surprised about these 2 teams, and who survives this, Homer?
I like Miami. To answer your first question, I'm surprised with Boston, not with Miami. Miami, Commissioner, to begin the season, they have so many COVID protocol issues. So, that's understandable. In fact, Jimmy Butler lost 18 pounds during the course of his COVID infection. So, when you don't have your best players, they fell 6 games below 500. It's so hard to climb back up, and this is the NBA. I'm more worried about Boston because the happiness, the joy de vivre, and everything else, it seems not to be there. And then parang I read one of the articles at the Boston newspaper. I think it was the Boston Globe. And parang ang mga players nagtutune out na kay Coach Brad Stevens, commissioner. And
Really? Talaga?
yeah, and
Oo.
and they always say, you know, in the parlance of the NBA, when a general manager endorses the coach, kasi Danny Ainge most recently said he's still our coach. Usually, when that happens, it's a kiss of death. You know, it reminds me of the Boston, of the Chicago Bulls during the time of Tom Thibodeau. Nag-tune out because you can only be so militaristic so many times.
Oo.
You can only be so, you know, pushy with your players. At the end of the day, mga superstars yan, commissioner, they don't want to. If you are Jason Tatum, you make 37 million. Do you really want to wake up at 6 in the morning to go jogging and shoot around 2 times before noon? I don't
Yung ba
think so.
ginagawa ni Brad Stevens?
Yes, because he's like Tom Thibodeau. He's very pushy. Remember, he's a college coach who made his bones as a college coach who went twice to the Final Four. With his best player was yung best player yung dating player ng Boston whose name escapes me na nag-fracture ang leg and then he's now with the Charlotte Hornets.
Well,
So yun ang problema ng Boston.
It wasn't long ago na si Brad Stevens was even being hailed as one of the top coaches in the NBA, and all of a sudden they're on a slide here. Pag pinag-uusapan ng play-in, Homer, there are a few teams na looking from the outside, looking in from the outside. Sino sa tingin mo has the best chance of pulling a comeback or a entry into the playoffs via the back door, if there's any among those now that is falling in that play-in category?
I was gonna say the New Orleans Pelicans had a chance, pero si Zion Williamson is out for the rest of the season now, indefinitely, which is
talaga rest of the season na to. Yung kanyang fractured little ring finger.
Yes, the official word, the press release said indefinitely, but when you're talking 5 games remaining, commissioner, that's basically an eternity. And I was gonna say the New Orleans Pelicans, and here with the Bulls sa East, they're 3 games behind the Washington Wizards, and I still held hope because I live in Chicago, pero nothing. Those were my 2 teams: Chicago in the East and New Orleans Pelicans in the West, and the Memphis Grizzlies. Wala na, commissioner. It's basically set in stone. These teams 7 to 8: Lakers, Portland, Warriors.
All right, but among those, obviously may maaaring pumasok at baka take advantage ng play-in tournament na yan. And, one of them, of course, is the Golden State Warriors that has languished actually for a long time, pero ngayon talagang they're and of course Washington has been very hot, Homer.
Very good. I'm so surprised, commissioner, when finally the melding of forces between Bradley Beal and Westbrook. I was one of those non-believers. I don't think it would work kasi they are both the same, cut from the same cloth. Ball dominant, needs a lot of field goals to get their numbers, pero it's working really well. So I'm so surprised. And then,
of course, we're entering the playoffs now, Homer. When you look at the matchups, what is the most interesting first round matchup for you?
Well, the first round for me, commissioner, if the Lakers come in as a 7th seed, Phoenix Suns, that's gonna be a very good deal with them. But kasi Phoenix Suns and Lakers, I like the Phoenix Suns here because they've seen the consistency all throughout the season. Devin Booker's had an all-star season, as we know. Very well-coached team. Then we have Chris Paul over there. So, intriguing. But then with LeBron James, the playoff experience commissioner, and Anthony Davis, if they are healthy, they can beat anybody in the West. Dito naman sa Eastern Conference, commissioner, the first-round matchup na na-intrigue sa akin would be number 1. Sorry, commissioner, to interrupt. Pumunta ako ng cardiologist ko kahapon. And I have some bad news, commissioner. I'm making light of this, but it's a heart issue.
Oh.
Anong sabi ng commissioner, ng heart doctor ko, commissioner?
Oh.
He said, my heart has a weakness for the Philadelphia 76ers. So
my heart is full, Homer.
Kasama na tayo, Commissioner. It is an eternal flame beating with the fire of hope and happiness and love and longing. So itong Philadelphia 76ers, Eastern Conference, Commissioner, I love the Philadelphia 76ers, but you know, you don't sleep on Boston. Kahit na ganito ang Boston, Commissioner.
The Bucks-Celtics matchup is very intriguing just in case it happens now. Kung matatapos kasi ngayon, it's Milwaukee versus Boston. That's a very intriguing matchup.
Yes, Commissioner. Let me call my bookie because it's Boston, Milwaukee, automatic na yan, Commissioner. It's all about consistency, Commissioner. The Milwaukee Bucks are very consistent, and also, Commissioner, Drew Holiday has fit so nicely. He fits so nicely, Commissioner. This is very uncommon in the NBA na yung player may 2 years pa, bibigyan ng max contract. Kasi gusto ni Giannis. Sabi niya, isign niyo tong si Drew Holiday. I really like him. That did not happen with Drew Bledsoe. But it happened with Drew Holiday. So that's why Milwaukee Bucks, like you said, thank you for serving that to me. Spoon-fed. Milwaukee and Boston, very good opening round series. But Milwaukee tayo dyan, Commissioner.
All right. Ngayon, mainit na mainit. So many teams have outperformed themselves. And if the voting was done today, who is your coach of the year? Homer, there are names out there. You've said already, Thibodeau, Monty Williams ng Phoenix. Quinn Snyder, of course, Utah has been terrific. Doc Rivers of the Philadelphia 76ers elevating their game. And of course, there's Mike Malone. Yung mga coaches of the month, si Scott Brooks. Who is your coach of the year at this point, Homer?
Okay, let me preface this question with this answer. Alam ko sigurado, Commissioner, ang manalo is Quinn Snyder. I know that for a fact.
Really?
He's just like you, abogado who found a career elsewhere, and it's hard to not vote against him. He has 48 wins, number 1 in the NBA right now. But I like Thibodeau, Commissioner, because unlike Coach Snyder, Commissioner, he has Spider Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, he had Jordan Clarkson. Tom Thibodeau has Julius freaking Randle. It's like you, Commissioner. Last week you had a plethora of guests, and then this week you have me. So it's such a and here. But you know what, Commissioner? It's all about the numbers. The numbers do not lie. In the 2 seasons before Tom Thibodeau took over as coach of the New York Knicks, they won only 38 of 148 games. Ngayon, first season ni Thibodeau, Commissioner, 37-26 with still 6 games to go. So natalo niya in 1 season ang 2 years na bad record ng New York Knicks. So it's hard na to. But of course, I'm a polluted source. Kaibigan ko si Thibodeau. He was here with the Bulls. I covered him every night when they played home. So I'm, bias ako. But that's what voting is. Bias kasi ang voting. That's what it is. Walang points, walang specific criteria, Commissioner. It's like Miss Universe.
Oh. I had an informal poll sa aking Twitter, and Tom Thibodeau came out the winner. Almost 50% of my Twitter followers voted for Tom Thibodeau, and ako personally, I like Monty Williams. I think he's done a terrific job with Phoenix. Alam mo, Phoenix has not been in the playoffs for so long, at ngayon they may top the NBA. How big is that? No, so ako, I'm really a Monty Williams. If I had a vote, I would vote for Monty Williams. Aside from Doc Rivers, of course.
but again, Commissioner, this is what the personnel you have. Monty Williams is a great coach. I'm not disputing that. But he coached Devin Booker. He coached DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul. He has so many things that he can work with. Kagaya namin as a writer, Commissioner, as you know, you yourself would know as being in the media. A writer is only as good as his subject.
Yeah.
If I write a story about Kiefer Ravina, it's not because I'm a good writer. It's because Kiefer Ravina is a very good subject.
Right.
Same thing with coaching. You are only as good as your materials. That's why Tom Thibodeau, to me, because of the dearth and the lack of materials, yung pandasyon ni Tom Thibodeau, he does not have big boss cement with him. Ito lang, nag-iisa lang, Commissioner. It's just Julius Randle.
Well, unless you're a Minnesota Timberwolves na miski napakaraming daming player, hindi pa rin pumasok-pasok. Anyway,
Yeah,
let's go to another topic. If the season ended today, it's a very tight race, and obviously injuries have come to play. I asked you the last time about the MVP. Now I will ask you your mythical first five. At this point, sino ang papasok dyan sa first five All-NBA na para sa'yo?
Oh, this is easy. And this is going to be debate. Remember, this is also a very subjective. Its beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. But itong difference ng being a columnist, Commissioner, because a columnist like me not only expresses his opinion, but he expresses it with the intellectual weight behind it and also the wherewithal behind it. So ito yung mythical five ko. Center is Joel Embiid. My forwards is Kevin Durant and LeBron James. And my guards are Luka Doncic and Steph Curry. Maraming nagtanong, hey, bakit walang Giannis? There's no Giannis because if you put Giannis with LeBron James, they become redundant. Both of them cannot shoot the outside jumper. So why not Jokic against Joel Embiid? Because if you have this powerhouse lineup with Durant, Curry, and Doncic who all can score, you don't need a scoring big. You need a big that can defend. And Embiid is a better defender. So why not Kyrie Irving and James Harden in my second five? Because Kyrie Irving and James Harden, the same thing. They become repetitive if you have Steph Curry out there. And the beauty of my mythical five is this. Luka Doncic is my point guard. Steph Curry can play off the ball. Kasi kita naman natin sa three-point shooting, Curry can just take off a double screen and shoot the three. So that's my mythical five. Again, I would not disrespect the opinion of others, but this is the better team in terms of basketball. Why would you put Jokic and Embiid in the same team? They're repetitive. It's like a federal form of government. They're repetitive. Same thing with LeBron. And if you put LeBron together with Giannis, they do the same things. So you put Durant with LeBron, it's very good.
Well,
good, Commissioner.
I know. And in terms of being a mythical five, that is certainly a legendary lineup that you will be placing. But I read recently na balitaan ko na in the NBA voting for the first all-NBA team, nilagay nila as a center forward si Jokic. So it's possible in the voting at least na si Jokic and Embiid will be together. They also made LeBron forward and guard. So there are some tweakings going on just to have that voting come in na pumasok itong mga magagaling na player nito. And I think that may just tip the voting sa tingin mo, Homer.
I agree, Commissioner. But again, if we are going to be strict with rules, LeBron James doesn't even qualify. He missed 36 games out of almost half. Same thing with Anthony Davis. So my thing here is that, like I said, it's mythical five. It's more like a fantasy. It's a wish, because in real life, you cannot put Embiid and Jokic in the same team. I mean, in the same lineup, playing together. One has to back up the other. Remember the dream team? Hakeem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing did not play at the same time.
Right.
So did Larry Bird and Chris Mullin. Why? Because they play the same position. Did John Stockton play with Magic Johnson at the same time during the dream team? They did not. So yun, Commissioner, when you examine a mythical five, you have to apply it according to the practicality of it, not because of voting. Kasi that's the bad thing about the All-Star. Kasi si All-Star, walang mga considerations na ganon. You just vote your favorite players. So yun. But
it will be interesting how the season progresses. Alam ko that the voting is only up to the regular season. So everybody's looking forward to it. Of course, the biggest award na hinahabol ng mga Pilipino ay yung six-man award, hopefully, para sa ating kababayang si Jordan Clarkson. Is that a lock? Before I let you go, is that a lock?
Yes, put me on record. It is a lock. And Commissioner, kung hindi manalo si Jordan Clarkson, lahat ng mga appearance fee ko dito sa Power and Play, i-donate ko sa charity.
Ang liit nung i-donate mo pag ano.
It's okay lang, Commissioner, but it's all, kasi di ba sabi nila, it's all about the thought. So I thought ko, seriously, it's a lock. You know what, Commissioner, nakausap ko nga yung tatay ni Jordan Clarkson. They promised me na at some point mag-a-appear si Jordan Clarkson dyan. Hindi lang nila complicated kasi daw, Commissioner, dahil they have to ask the permission of the agents, club sports and all that stuff. So I understand, but
I still believe in you. At isang araw si Jordan Clarkson ang kaharap natin dalawa dito sa Power and Play. Homer,
Yes,
maraming
Commissioner.
salamat. Maraming salamat. It's been a very informative, entertaining segment as always.
Before I go, Commissioner, can I say
go ahead.
something?
Sure.
This is sad. I don't know how to say this, but sports kasi, Commissioner, when I was growing up, I'm a big fan of Ricky Lo, Philippine star, and also Nestor Torre. And because sa Pilipinas kasi, not only in the Philippines, but sports and entertainment always intersect because it's celebrity and all that stuff. And so mga aspiring writers natin dyan na gustong mag-reporter kagaya ko or sports writer, read the obituary section, read the entertainment section. They are gold mines for literary gems. And Ricky Lo was one of my idols, Commissioner. He did not tabloidize the entertainment sections. Walang chismis. His was story features, interviews, the who, what, when, where about celebrities, things we want to learn about them. Not necessarily like sinong ka-date nila, saan sila kumain. And that's the beauty of Ricky Lo. And I was so surprised when I saw the news na he passed on. So, yun lang, Commissioner. And I hope his family does well in this time of grief. So
I share your sympathies sa nasirang Ricky Lo at sa kanyang buong pamilya. Homer, maraming salamat. Stay safe. We'll see you again soon.
next year na, Commissioner, elections. Embiid for president! Joel Embiid for president! Joel Embiid for president! Yes, yes, yes!
Yan po mga kaibigan, ang ating kaibigan, si Homer Sayson, ang ating NBA correspondent and expert, and of course, columnista ng Spin.ph. Ikaw talaga, Homer, ha? Basta Joel Embiid will take us home to the promised land, Philadelphia. Nako, talagang excited na ako para sa postseason. Alright, at this point, bago ko po ilabas ang ating pasalamatan ng ating mga sponsors. Again, yung pong laban ni Brandon Vera, ating pong ipapalabas sa One Sports, at One Sports Plus, sa next Saturday, May 15, ganap na ika-6 ng gabi po yan, ha? At meron pong palabas din on May 16, alas 12 naman sa TV5. Brandon Vera versus Arjan Bhullar sa One Dangal, dyan po sa Singapore Indoor Stadium. Supportahan po natin ang ating kababayan at marami pa pong mga supporting events dyan po sa One Dangal na ating pong mapapanood. Again, Brandon Vera, we're all rooting for you. At this point, gusto ko po magpasalamat sa lahat po ng sumusuporta sa Power and Play. Una sa listahan, of course, Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay. Nandito na ang Big Boss Cement, di basta matitibag, approve sa kalikasan at sobrang abot kaya. Big Boss Cement is the first eco-friendly cement company in the Philippines. First and only cement that is produced with low to 0% of high carbon footprint materials. Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, green is good. Maraming salamat kay Mr. Engineer Gilbert Cruz, ang presidente at chief company innovator ng Big Boss Cement. Marami din po salamat, of course, sa Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Sa ganitong pabago-bago ang panahon, mga kababayan, at kadalasan sobrang init ngayong tag-araw, kailangan natin ng matibay at protektadong bubong. Dapat ang bubong ay yerong may aluminum. Kapag may aluminum, tsak na pang matagalan. At isa lang ang alam kong dekalidad na yerong may aluminum, yan ang Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero. Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Thank you so much kay pareng Elmer Ngo ng Cherry Loom. Katuwang din natin ang Elms Resto Bar Group. Fried Itik na merong branches sa Elms Tapas and Winery located in Calle Bistro, Commonwealth, Quezon City, at Elms Grill and Bar sa Poblacion, Makati. You may call mobile numbers 0977-157-0499, 0966-854-4048, or bisitahin ang kanilang Facebook at IG pages at Elms Resto Bar Group for reservations and inquiries. Bukas na po ang Elms Grill and Bar at Elms Tapas and Winery. Maraming salamat po kay Ma'am Malu Yambao. Thank you also, of course, to Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo. Dahil ayaw naming nahirapan ka, book Joyride Motorcycle Taxi now and experience hassle-free commute. Kapag delivery naman, Joyride ang gamitin. Bagsak presyo, pero hindi ang serbisyo. Joyride is now on its lowest rates ever. And of course, bukas na po ang latest feature ng Joyride app, ang JR Mall, our first e-commerce platform sa Joyride app. Download the latest Super Joyride app now. Marami din po salamat, of course, sa Maquillage Professional, your school of makeup artistry, the official makeup of Power and Play. At nagpapasalamat po kami sa Skin, your face and body anti-aging center, with branches at Wilson Street sa San Juan City at Alabang Town Center sa Muntinlupa City. We provide Indiba tissue regeneration procedure, mesotherapy, Maximus Tri-Lipo, and many more to take care of your body needs. For inquiries, please call 0917-890-1640 o 0977-809-8886. Hanapin lang niyo po si Doc Richie Sarmiento o si Doktora G. Sarmiento. At kami po nagpapasalamat sa kanilang suporta. Maraming salamat po sa lahat ng mga taguyod ng Power and Play. Ako going on ano na kami 4 years. Grabe, no? Malapit ng anniversary natin dito po sa Power and Play. Well, tuloy-tuloy po ang ating huntahan at balitaan. And at this point, balikan natin muli ang basketball after that very energetic discussion with Homer. Ngayon naman po, punta tayo sa PBA. Alam naman natin, nakahapon, nag-anunsyo na po ang IATF na pwede na muli na mag-ensayo ang mga PBA teams sa mga GCQ at MGCQ areas. Ano kaya ang mga plano ng mga teams ngayon? Well, isa sa mga kupunan na yan ay ating kakausapin sa pamamagitan ng kanilang head coach, ang 8-time PBA champion at 4-time Coach of the Year, head coach ng San Miguel Beermen, ang aking kaibigan, si Coach Leo Austria. Coach Leo, magandang umaga sa iyo.
Magandang umaga din sa iyo, Commissioner, at saka sa listener ng Power and Play.
Kamusta? Ang tagal na natin hindi nagkakamustahan. Ikaw ba nasa Quezon? Kamusta ka ba?
Confine ako dito sa tahanan namin dahil naka-lockdown tayo ngayon, so bawal umalis. Alam mo naman tayo lagi nakikita ng mga tao, bawal tayong lumabas.
Oo, alam ko ikaw very particular ka sa iyong kondisyon, sa iyong health. You're a health buff, alam ko yan, Coach Leo. So hindi ka naman nananaba siguro at para patuloy pa rin ang ensayo.
Hindi naman dahil since nung nag-start yung pandemic, I lost I think 13 to 15 pounds.
Wow.
Dahil naka-confine lang dito sa bahay, so wala kang gagawin kundi mag-isip kung paano to manage your health. So by exercising and then counting jogging at walking dito sa village, yun ang ginagawa ko sa araw-araw.
Very good. Well, pinag-uusapan niyo ang pag-iensayo. Sabi ko nga, nabanggit ko kanina na pinayagan na ng IATF ang muling pag-iensayo ng mga PBA teams sa mga GCQ at MGCQ area. Obviously, this is good news para sa PBA, para sa inyo na talagang kating-kating na maglaro. Unang-una, Coach Leo, ano ang nakikita mo magiging plano ng San Miguel Beermen? Kayo ba ay mag-iensayo sa Batangas as being suggested ng PBA?
Unang-una, the moment I've heard na pinayagan na tayo ng government to start our practice, so napahinga ako ng malalim at nagpasalamat ako sa Panginoon Diyos dahil alam naman natin na marami naghihintay dito sa PBA. And then in fact, maraming mga tao, mga kamag-anak, kaibigan na lagi nagtatanong, kailan ba mag-uumpisa ang PBA? Ganito. Kaya sabi ko, mabuti na lang at nabigyan tayo ng green light para mag-start. So it's a good sign na after nito mga practices siguro mag-uumpisa na tayo dahil talagang hinahanap na tayo ng maraming fans dahil ang basketball natin dito sa PBA kasama ito sa pangaraw-araw na buhay ng kapwa Pilipino And regarding sa preparation ng team, so it's very unfortunate dahil before lockdown, so I thought na we're doing well and then may momentum na kami dahil slowly yung skills namin talagang nahun namin and then napalis namin, but all of a sudden nagkaroon ng ganitong unfortunate situation na lockdown tayo.
Alright, alam natin na ang gustong ipatupad ng PBA ay isang closed circuit na sistema, Coach Leo, no? In fact, nung nakausap ko si Willie, sabi niya, posible na kung maglalaro ang PBA, biyahe kayo mula Maynila patungong Batangas, balik, laro, balik. Sabi niya, anyway, nandiyan naman ang SLEX at ang Skyway ng San Miguel. Nandiyan naman, of course, ang mabilis na nabiyahe. Any concerns, Coach Leo, dito o challenges na itong magiging sistema ng PBA, itong closed circuit system? Meron ka bang nakikitang malaking hamon para sa mga kupunan katulad ninyo?
Yeah, under dito sa pandemic, malaking challenge na ito . And then what more, kung may sarili pang safety protocols ang PBA, which I think naman kaya naman ng PBA dahil before the bubble, ginawa na natin itong closed circuit . Maingat tayo. And then in fact, there are teams na before and after the bubble, wala naman nag-positive doon sa team nila . That means yung discipline ng mga player ay talagang kailangan dito at magagawa ito. And then regarding doon sa pagbiyahe, papunta ng Batangas, I think that's only plan B. Dahil pagkakaintindi ko, kung GCQ or MGCQ, pwede kang maglaro. Yung mga professional team lang, basketball. But so of course, kung pupunta ka ng Batangas at yun ang dapat gawin ng bawat team, so talagang gagawin namin dahil alam naman ng mga players na talagang miss na nila yung basketball . Whatever happen, kung ano man decision, gagawin ito ng mga players. In fact, yung mga players laging tumatawag at nag-uusap kami through Zoom meeting, and then talagang miss na nila yung basketball . Kaya kung ano man ang ibibigay, panuntunan ng PBA, ng IITF, susundin niya ng mga PBA teams dahil alam natin na hinahanap na tayo ng maraming fans.
Alam din natin, Coach, na nagkaroon ng policy ang PBA na tapyasan ng bahagya ang inyong sahod habang wala pang mga practices. So obviously, itong pagbabalik ng practices malaking bagay para sa lahat. No? Coach, alam natin, last bubble, medyo naging challenge para sa San Miguel Beermen dahil sa naging injuries ng inyong koponan. Nagkaroon ng injury si Terence Romeo. Alam natin si Junmar hindi nakalaro. How is the team health-wise ngayon, Coach Leo? Ano ang latest kay Junmar at kay Terence Romeo?
Well, yan yung primary concern ko talaga . Sana maging healthy kami. So far, so good kami dahil si Terence, since last December, so healthy na siya . And he could play whole game. And then si Junmar, alam mo natin yung kanya situation, nagkaroon ng setback, but because of this mga lockdown, mga delayed, so naka-recover siya. And then in fact, before the lockdown, he's starting his court drills . And meron na siyang laterals, meron forward, backward, and then supposed to be in the following week, magkano na siya. Magkakaroon na siya ng 5 versus 0. Sasabay na siya sa team. Unfortunately, tumaas yung mga cases, kaya napilitan tayo magpahinga na naman. And dahil what is paramount is talagang safety ng lahat hindi lang yung mga players . But I think kung magiging healthy yung team, I think we will give them a good fight this coming season.
Alright. Nakikita mo ba, Coach, na in case makalaro si Junmar Fajardo, magkakaroon siya ng minutes restrictions dahil alam naman natin, ayaw mong biglain yung mga players na yun at napakalalim naman ng team. Do you see minute restrictions para kay Junmar and even for Terence just in case makalaro sila muli?
I think at the start, kailangan talagang pag-aralan namin. And then, from time to time naman, minomonitor yan namin yung mga practices niya kung talagang allowed na siya ng full game. But I'm sure, after 15 months of layoff, I think there's a period of adjustment. Dahil what we want to for him to do is to play, to be back in his old forms. But it will take time. But I'm sure Junmar, it's easy for him because alam naman natin kung paano siya mag-ensayo, yung discipline niya. In fact, araw-araw talagang nagtitrain siya and then nag-rehab, nag-strengthening. And then last time nga, nagkausap yung buong team Anong tinanong siya, ready ka na ba? Sabi niya, ready na ako. He's too eager to play. And it's a good news for the fans. But of course, in the first few games, it will take parang yun yung period of adjustment sa kanya. But knowing
Oh.
Junmar, I think it's easy for him.
Alright. Well, may bago kang player na inaabangan ng napakarami na papasok sa San Miguel Beermen, si CJ Perez na nakuha nyo during the off-season. Unang-una, Coach Leo, I know you have not been able to practice on a 5 right now dahil nga sa ating pandemya, but kamusta si CJ as a member of the Beermen? At ano ba nakikita mong role para kay CJ ngayon na siya ay kasama na ng SMB?
During individual workouts, hindi kami nagkakaroon ng scrimmage, puro skills lang kami. So makikita mo talaga kung bakit naging CJ Perez siya at naging member ng Gilas team. At talagang one of the best in the PBA. But of course, he joined with the team with a lot of pedigree. Alam naman natin yung mga kasama niya, yung mga superstar din. Ang maganda sa kanya, nag-take ng backseat siya, talagang nag-a-adjust siya. And very observant siya sa nangyayari doon sa mga teammate niya. That's why during our individual workouts, so after a week, so isinasiyapol ko sila for him to get some chemistry with those players. And then alam naman natin yung talent niya. In any team, pakikinabangan siya. What more kung nasa amin. And the good thing with him, hindi siya persado dito sa team namin, unlike before na talagang he has to carry on his shoulder yung team niya. But dito, marami silang tumutulong. But in terms of playing time, it always depends on the game of the player. Dahil it's a healthy competition. If you're playing well, so nasa loob ka. And then kung nagpapabaya ka, may reliever ka. Yun ang nangyayari. And ever since naman, I have to define the role. But in every role, in every position, meron kang kakompetensya. Kaya dapat hindi ka magpapabaya.
Well, that is the luxury that you have. Sa dami ng magagaling na players sa SMB, talagang ika nga.
Oh. Wala.
Ano nakikita mong dinadala ni CJ sa team na dati wala kayo? Alam natin, unloaded ang San Miguel, but obviously CJ is a different talent. He's a unique talent. What does he bring to the team na dati ay ika nga hinahanap-hanap ng SMB?
Well, unang-una, yung kanyang energy. So, alam naman natin na kami, medyo pagdating sa energy, talagang nagpipacing lagi kami. Dahil itong mga nakaraang season, we're always in the playoffs or finals. So, napapagod din yung mga players. Kaya maganda nga yung pagdating niya dahil yung kanyang energy is talagang kakaiba. And alam natin na he wants to win a championship. So, wala kang makikitang magre-relax itong batang ito. And then, yung hinahanap ng team na magpo-provide ng malaking tulong, so makikita natin kay CJ.
Mm-hmm. All right. You still have veteran players, Coach. Arwin, Alex, Marcio, Chris Ross. Anong hinihiling mo sa kanila this season? What do you want to see from them this season? Alam natin na andyan si Motaw Tua, andyan si Terence, andyan si CJ, si Junmar, babalik. What kind of, I guess, sacrifices ang hinihingi mo sa kanila as you enter this new season?
Well, as long as na they're hungry for the title, I think hindi ako magkakaproblema. And naalala ko nung first time na dumating si Terence sa amin, and then sabi, loaded na yung team namin, ganyan. But the good thing with Terence, hindi pa siya nananalo ng championship At talagang gusto niya manalo. That's why every practice, every game, he's trying his best kung paano makakatulong And hindi niya na iniisip na kaya kong dalhin itong team na ito dahil marami silang katulong. What more with this lineup, but it's just a piece of paper. We will see on the court kung paano natin makikita yung chemistry nila. Dahil what is important in this star-studded lineup is the chemistry. As long as na there is a sacrifices, so makikita natin yan. Dahil kung gutom sila and they're not thinking of themselves, they're thinking of their team, I think we will achieve many things in this season.
Is CJ Perez yung missing ingredient for a Grand Slam, Coach Leo?
Well, it's hard to tell, dahil maraming beses na kami nag-try and then ganun din kalakas yung mga lineup, pero hindi nangyari yon. But we're thinking of one game at a time. But kung sa amin yan, kung talagang ibibigay sa amin yan, mangyayari yan. But what I want to from our players is just to focus on their game, on their practices, and then it will bring a lot of good things para sa amin.
All right, my final question, Coach Leo. Alam ko na very busy ka, pero everybody is talking about the PBA season at ang napakalakas na mga koponan, ng mga nagpalakas na teams, mga bagong rookies na papasok. But of course, at the end of the day, marami nagsasabi na iba pa rin daw ang San Miguel Beermen. Is the SMB team still the team to beat ngayong Philippine Cup?
Well, alam naman natin na talagang napakalakas ng mga team ngayon and very exciting ito dahil umikot ang maraming players and then nadagdagan ng mga magagaling na talent ang galing dito sa drafting. But kung magiging healthy yung team namin, I think we will give them a good fight. But this time hindi natin masisiguro dahil lahat ng team trying to be a contender. Dahil alam ko na very confident yung bawat team dahil nadagdagan sila ng mga missing piece doon sa team nila. But let's see. But I think yung magiging advantage lang namin dito siguro matagal na magkakasama ito. And then they know how to win and they know how to lose. And regarding the experience in the championship, meron kami noon But alam mo naman lahat yan pinag-aaralan na ng kalaban Kaya you don't have to be complacent and you have to work hard para maging competitive ka. And it's a good thing dahil para sa akin it's a challenge for everybody dahil alam nila na walang team na dito na pwedeng biruin mo You cannot take them for granted dahil makikita mo sa mga interview nila, they are very confident. Kaya sabi ko, it's about time to work hard again.
Well, talagang panahon na at oras na dahil malapit na talaga kayo mag-practice muli. Coach Leo, stay safe. Alam ko na bihira na ulit tayo magkikita dahil magiging very busy ka, but I wish you all the best. Alam mo naman, I've always supported you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning and good luck sa SMB.
Thank you, Commissioner, for having me. And gusto ko lang batiin yung isa sa mga sponsor nyo, si Boss Gilbert Cruz. Is one of my friends. Boss, kumusta kayo dyan?
Maraming salamat at I'm sure nakikinig siya at nanonood. Maraming salamat, Coach Leo. Ingat ka.
Okay, salamat, boss.
Yan po mga kaibigan, walang iba kundi ang ating 8-time PBA champion at 4-time Coach of the Year ng SMB, si Coach Leo Austria. Napaka-exciting ng magiging season. Of course, ang San Miguel Beermen, I think, is still the team to beat. With CJ, Junmar, if they are healthy, and the rest of that team, nako, of course, maraming magagalit sa akin. Ginebra is, of course, the defending champion and they will not give up that crown easily. But iba pa rin yung San Miguel Beermen, napakalakas ng lineup. Alright, mga kaibigan, now we will take a quick break sa aming pong pagbabalik. Babasahin namin ang inyong mga kuro-kuro tungkol sa pulse sa ating pinulsuhan ngayong araw pong ito. And of course, ang interview natin sa ating Olympic hopeful sa boxing, si Eumir Marcial. Sa pagbabalik po ng Power and Play, hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement at ng Cherry Loom. Nagbabalik po ang Power and Play. Kanina po ang ating katanungan sa ating Pulso ng Bayan. Sino po ang inyong pinakaabangan na player o koponan o team sa parating na NBA playoffs? Ito po yung ibang nagpadala ng kanila pong opinion para kay Anthony Perlado. Sabi niya, Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns. Matagal nang hindi naglalaro to sa playoffs, kaya talagang kaabang-abangan to. Si JP naman, sabi niya, LA Lakers, Stress Harrell, struggle during the regular season, minutes limited usually. Playoffs is the perfect time to unleash him. Montrezl Harrell, naghahangad na maging kampiyon. Ngayon, ang Clippers, maganda rin ang kanyang, yung iniwanan niyang team, mukhang maganda rin ang kalalabsan nun. Sabi ni J. Lord, Phoenix Suns, first playoffs for the team in a long while. It's different from regular season games. And I hope CP3 can lead the team with a group of playoff-hungry first-timers. Alam niyo po, si Chris Paul, hindi pa nakakapasok sa kanyang checkered career sa NBA Finals. Ganun po kahirap pumasok sa NBA Finals. Kaya si Chris Paul, of course, ay isa sa mga taong talagang umahanap ng kampyonato. Mula kay Ike Valconcha, ang inaabangan ko na team sa NBA playoffs ay ang Clippers at Brooklyn. At ang inaabangan ko talaga na player sa NBA playoffs ay si Idol Kawhi Leonard, kasi alam naman natin na lalabas ang tunay na laro ni Kawhi pag playoffs na, at sana magpakitang gilas din si PG-13, si Paul George po yan. Sana di na siya kagaya nung last year. Pa-shoutout po, Idol, sa lahat ng mga taga San Pablo, Zamboanga del Sur. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat dyan sa Zamboanga del Sur. Mula naman kay Elvis ng Elvis Candiasan, Kevin Durant ang kanyang inaabangan, si Nesty Corralde, Luka Doncic, at si George ang Utah Jazz. Si John Paul Vargas Rio, syempre si Kevin Durant, malaki kasi expectations sa kanya ng tao, at alam ko na mas maghahalimaw pa yan sa playoffs at kung papala rin sa finals na rin. Marami po salamat. Marami pang nagpapadala ng kanilang kuro-kuro at opinion. Marami po salamat sa inyo lahat sa paglahok sa ating Pulso ng Bayan. Siya nga pala, gusto ko pong batiin ng isa lamang happy birthday ang aking makakaibigan, si Elmer La Peña, si Sunny Salvacion at si Attorney Derek Portoliano. Happy birthday, gentlemen. Sana ay maging masaya ang inyong pag-celebrate. Gusto ko rin pong kamustahin si Junie Navarro, all the way from Zamboanga City. Junie Navarro ng Zamboanga Valientes na ngayon ay nagiging punong abala dito sa ating susunod na panauhin. At ang ating pong panauhin ay ang ating inaasahan pagdating sa Olimpiada. He is a 3-time Southeast Asian Games gold medalist at ngayon po siya ang ating boxing hopeful sa middleweight division sa Olympics. Ito po ang ating panayam kay Eumir Marcial mula po sa Zamboanga. Marami kang fans na talagang naghahanap sa iyo at sa balita tungkol sa iyo. So, tanongin kita kagad. Alam naman natin, bumalik ka na from the US. Pero pag-usapan natin bahagya yung naging training mo sa US, Eumir. Kamusta naging epekto sa paghahanda mo para sa Tokyo Olympics doon sa training mo sa Amerika?
US, sir, sobrang laking bagay po yun sa akin, lalo na yung ngayon sa darating na Olympics. Dahil sobrang ang dami kong natutunan na ibang technique, ibang style, ibang mga effective na diskarte pagdating sa laban. Mas naging matured po ako sa pagkikipaglaban. So, alam niyo yung at sa kay mga magagaling na ayun po yung pinakamaganda po, sir. At higit sa lahat po sir, yung nakasama ko sila.
Alright mga kaibigan, titingnan natin kung maayos natin yung ating recording na ginawa kagabi. Kagabi lang po yan Alam niyo po actually, nung isang araw pa natin gusto kausapin si Eumir, talagang naging adventure para sa amin dahil nagkaroon po siya ng problema sa pag-uwi niya galing or pagbalik niya sa Zamboanga. I think pumunta po siya sa Dipolog. Kagabi naman, nag-brown out dun po sa Zamboanga habang ginagawa po natin yung interview natin kay Eumir, no? At siya po ay ngayon naninirahan doon po sa bahay, of course, taga Zamboanga po yan, but siya po ay tinataguyod ni Junie Navarro doon po sa Zamboanga City. At napakarami po ng ating napag-usapan kasama ni Eumir Marcial. Alam natin na si Eumir ay handang-handa na. Siya po ay nanalo ng kanyang laban sa Amerika, his first professional fight. At naging malaki daw tulong po ito sa kanyang paghahanda para sa Olimpiada. So tingnan natin lang Gab, kung maayos natin yung ating tape. Naayos pa yata hanggang ngayon. So gusto ko lang pong batiin muna ang ating mga nakikinig sa atin. Si Alex Fuentes, ang ating suki mula sa Bacolod City. Magandang umaga sa inyo. Rowena Escoliar, Epi Alfonso, si Doc Aga Mohe. Good morning, Tito Mer and Tita Rod. Magandang umaga po. Lilian Morantes, Nora Ricardo ng Laguna, si Victor Tapiador, Gerald Caudilla. Magandang umaga po sa inyo mukhang handa na si Eumir Marcial. So balikan natin ang ating pong interview kasama ni Eumir Marcial.
Doon sir And then sinasabi nila yun yung mga effective na suntok. Yun yung dapat gawin. And then yung sinasabi. Yes sir.
Of course, ang isa pang bagay na nakuha mo sa Amerika, Eumir, is yung laban mo, nakakuha ka ng unang mong professional fight. Gaano kalaki yung laban na yon sa iyong timetable, sa iyong paghahanda rin?
Yung unang laban ko talaga sa pro sir, talagang nung before pandemic, ang daming nangyari sir wala po kaming preparation, wala kaming training. So yung unang laban ko po doon sa pro sir, parang ginamit ko po parang mabalik po ako sa training. Kumbaga mag-start na po ako nung 2020 pa lang, kahit nag-postpone yung Olympics, kahit nagsabi sila baka hindi na matuloy yung Olympics. Tinuloy ko yung laban nun sir kasi parang alam ko parang gusto ko po na ma-experience yung nung naglaban ako sa pro, sobrang pressure kasi nun sir Grabe yung pressure, ang daming mga Pilipino, yung lalo na yung mga kababayan ko dito sa Zamboanga na hinihintay yung laban ko. So, alam niyo yung pressure na yun, parang alam ko na ganun din yung mangyayari sa akin pagdating sa Olympics. So, yung natutunan ko doon, yung sa unang laban ko sa pro, parang ma-manage ko na po yung pressure ng mga tao, yung mga nag-expect sa akin na makakuha tayo ng gold. Ma-experience ko na. So pagdating sa Olympics, hindi na ako maninibago na ito yung nararamdaman ko nung unang laban ko sa pro.
Okay. Well, magandang leksyon yan. Kumbaga, naramdaman mo na yung bigat ng responsibilidad na pinataw sa iyong mga balikat ng ating mga kababayan at alam natin yan ay taos-puso mo namang binubuhat. Ngayon, sabi mo nga, napakaganda na naging training camp nyo sa Amerika. Madami kang natutunan and of course, nakakuha ka ng laban. So ang tanong, Eumir, bakit ka nagbalik sa Pilipinas? Bakit mo hindi na lamang itinuloy ang training camp sa Amerika bago tumulak patungong Tokyo? At bakit Zamboanga ang napili mong puntahan?
Una na sir, yung reason ko talaga bakit umuwi ako dito para makita ko po yung magulang ko dahil last year ang dami nangyari nung namatay yung kapatid ko. Hindi ako umuwi, nagstay pa rin ako doon. Nagpatuloy ako sa laban ko. Then nung December Christmas, bagong taon, hindi po ako umuwi. Lahat po, doon po, nandun lang po ako kasi inano ko talaga na gusto ko talaga makakuha ng experience doon na para magamit ko sa Olympics. So nagstay talaga ako doon, sir. So sa loob ng 7 months, sa tingin ko sa sarili ko na alam ko na, nakuha ko na yung kailangan ko doon. And then, meron po kasi sana akong training camp sa Thailand para makasama yung team ko, yung ABAP family, na kung magdediretso po ako doon at hindi na ako makakauwi dito sa Pilipinas hanggang pagdating sa Olympics. So, yung isip ko noon, sir, sobrang grabe na yung iniisip ko. Gusto ko na makita yung magulang ko. So, yun po yung reason talaga, sir, na pumunta ako dito para makapag-recharge, makakuha ulit ng, alam niyo yung kahit physical fit tayo, pero yung mental natin talagang sira, wala tayo sa focus, walang mangyayari sa laban natin. So, umuwi ako dito, sir, nakita ko yung magulang ko, nakita ko yung tatay ko. So, sila po yung nagbibigay ng lakas sa akin pagdating sa laban ko, sir.
Alam natin si Mang Eulalio ay nagkaroon ng kapansanan, kaya naman talagang pinagdarasal din natin ang iyong ama na gumaling at napakabuti mong anak, Eumir, kahit paano talagang inaalala mo pa rin ang iyong pamilya sa gitna ng iyong paghahanda sa pinakamalaki mong laban o hamon sa iyong career. Ngayon, of course, alam natin ang Zamboanga ay ang bahay mo. Oh, mukhang nagbalik na yung ilaw. Yan ang bahay mo talaga. Yan ang tahanan mo.
Supportive misis ko po sa mo.
Oo,
nag-iilang.
okay. Bakit? Kasi sabi nga ni Ricky Vargas na hindi ka daw mapapabuti dyan sa Zamboanga. He is not better off in Zamboanga. Parang ang gusto niya sabihin sumama ka na lang sa training ng doon sa bubble camp sa Thailand at sa mga iba't iba pang mga training na ginagawa ng ABAC. Bakit ka may konting alinlangan na sumama? Meron ka bang gustong paabutin sa ABAC?
Sir, una nga yung sinabi ko sa inyo na nung una na yung reason ko talaga dito kaya umuwi ako kasi gusto ko makita yung pamilya ko. Gusto ko yung maging presko ulit yung isip ko kasi ang dami nangyari noon, sir, nung nasa US po ako. Araw-araw na lang minsan nawawala po akong gana mag-training dahil inisip ko yung pamilya ko, yung magulang ko kasi yung tatay ko after ng pagkawala ng panganay ko, sir, naghina siya, nagkasakit, parang wala nang gana. Alam niyo yun, sir, nung umuwi ako dito, bigla siyang nagkaroon ng lakas. So, alam yung lahat po, sir, yung pagkakalam ng lahat na kahit ako alam ko yung sa sarili ko na yung training dito hindi talaga katulad ng training sa ibang bansa. Alam naman po natin lahat, sir, na mas maganda po yung training sa ibang bansa tulad po ng yung mga lahat ng qualifiers noon ngayon nasa ibang bansa, nila Obiena, nila Yulo, tsaka yung team ko sa boxing, lahat sila nasa ibang bansa. Pero sa akin, sir, alam ko sa puso at sa isip ko, sir, na yung pag-uwi ko dito ay makakabuti para sa akin sa pagdating sa Olympics. Kasi ako, sir, tulad ngayon sinabi ko na nakuha ko na yung experience ko doon sa US, ngayon dito nagko-conditioning na lang kami. At the same time yung isip ko fresh na fresh, nakita ko yung tatay ko, nakita ko yung misis ko, nakita ko yung mga pamangkin ko. Kasi parang ako din yung nagtayo ng sir, parang naging ama din sa pamilya namin, na naging masaya din sila nung pag-uwi ko dito. So kahit yung mga bata, yung mga pamangkin nandun, panay sunod-sunod sa akin. Alam niyo, ngayon nakuha ko na yung lakas nila at pagbalik ko sa training, pag-join ko sa team ko, talagang physical at mental fit po ako, sir.
Very good. Well, magandang marinig yan. At mukha nga talagang masayang-masaya ka dyan. Mukhang buhay na buhay ang iyong kalooban. The spirits are high. And napakahalaga niyan patungo sa Tokyo. So, liwanagin ko lang, Eumir, ikaw ba may planong sumama sa Dubai? Kasama ng ABAC team na lalaban sa Dubai?
Yes, sir. Actually, nasa lineup na po ako ngayon sa papuntang Dubai. Yung alis po ng team ay ngayon 21 ng May. So, inaayos na po namin at parang pagkakalam ko, sir, ako lang po yung Olympia na sasama doon dahil nga nag-iingat din po yung ABAP sa sitwasyon natin ngayon, yung COVID. Pag nagka-COVID yung ating mga qualifiers, talagang mahirap yon. So, sa akin, at least may vaccinated po ako. At syempre, mag-iingat rin ako sa laban ko doon. And yung habol ko doon, sir, na makapag-tune up fight again, maka-tune up fight ulit sa amateur, at yung afternoon, yung Hullman papuntang Olympics, tuloy-tuloy na po yung training.
Well, mag-iingat ka rin dyan sa Zamboanga sapagkat alam natin na mataas din ang kaso sa Zamboanga at may mga balita nga na maaaring baguhin ang status ng Zamboanga. Pero Eumir, right now, kamusta ang timbang mo? Sa tingin mo ba wala kang magiging problema dun sa Olympic standard? At pangalawa, kamusta naman ang suporta sa iyo, ang funding? Tuloy-tuloy ba? Nakakakuha ka ba ng tulong mula sa ating mga ahensya ng pamahalaan at sa iyong NSA, ang ABAP?
Sir, maging honest po ako sa inyo. Sa ngayon po, yung tumutulong po sa akin dito, sir, si Sir Juni Navarro, sir, yung Zamboanga Valientes, at yung mga ibang mga tao na sumusuporta sa akin dito, sir. Kasi since nung umalis po ako, sir, wala po akong natanggap na tulong galing po sa ating tumutulong sa sports, no? So ayun, pero ako, sir, natanong niyo sa akin ngayon, sasagutin ko kayo ng totoo. Ako, never ako magsalita na sana, sir, about sa ganyan kasi gusto ko training lang ako sa papuntang Olympics. Pero kung support o any kind ng support, meron pong galing coaches, galing ABAP, pero kung yung support tulad ng mga qualifiers, tulad nila Heidi, tulad nila Carlo Yulo, EJ Obiena at ibang qualifiers, ay ako po, wala po ko natatanggap, sir.
Ang ibig mo sabihin, lahat ng ginagastos mo ay nanggagaling sa iyong pribadong mga sponsors, hindi nanggagaling sa Philippine Sports Commission. Ano ang rason dito? Ikaw ba nakapag-communicate ka sa kanila? Humingi ka ba o hindi ka naman humihingi, Eumir?
Sir, pagod na po ako magsalita, sir. Pagod na ako magsabi kung ano yung kailangan ko. Kasi sinasabi ko na yung ano yung mga kailangan ko, yung mga kailangan ko dito. Pero inisip, walang nag-uusap kami pero wala namang masaya po ako kasama yung kababayan ko dito sa Zamboanga. Full support po sila lahat dito. Si Sir Juni, lahat ginagawa din niya sa yung suporta niya. Yung support na galing po sa puso na gusto niya na makakuha ako ng gold. Hindi naman yun para sa sarili ko lang, para po sa Zamboanga yon at sa bansang Pilipinas. At ganoon din po kay Sir Sean, no, sir, si Sir Sean, ginagawa din lahat talaga ni Sir Sean na mapakomportable po ako. Yung ano yung mga kailangan ko, ano yung mga kailangan ko para maganda yung training ko. So, alam nyo, gano'n na lang po ako, sir. Hihintayin ko na lang po kung anong darating na tulong sa akin. Kasi alam nyo, sobrang distraction yun, sir. Nadidistract ako na maghihingi ako, magsasalita ako ganito. Sorry, sir, parang
okay lang.
Ramdam
ko yung hirap mo at yung yung hinanakit, no? At nakakalungkot. Sana nga ito'y maayos. And I don't want to belabor the point. Ayoko nang dikdikin pa itong puntong ito. Sana na lang tayo dumudulog sa ating mga kinaukulan ng ating mga atleta ay ating alagaan. No? Okay, let's go to another point dito, Eumir. Sa Olympics, medyo nakita mo na ba ang mga magiging kalaban mo? Ang balita natin dyan, may isang Cubano, may isang Ukrainian at Ruso na pinakamabibigat mong kalaban. Ito ba mga boksingerong ito ay napag-aralan mo na, Eumir? Sila, may mga pangalan tayo dito nakita, no? Si Arlen Lopez ng Cuba, si Alexander Kizniak ng Ukraine at si Gleb Bakshi ng Russia. Yan ba yung napag-aralan mo na, Eumir?
Sir, lahat po ng kalaban na lahat magko-qualify sa Olympics po, sir. Yun po yung pinaghahandaan ko ngayon. Kasi lahat po yun ay nagkasam din na gold sa Olympics. Kaya di natin masasabi sila yung magaling, sila ito yung na-achieve nila. Yung ito, lahat na to ng mga qualifiers ay hangat na makakuha ng gold. Kaya ang gagawin ko po, sir, despite sa lahat ng nangyayari sa akin, ipagdasal ko na lang po sa Panginoon kung ano mang suporta yung darating at yung gagawin ko yung pagsisikap ko dito at sa tingin ko magbubunga to pagdating sa Olympics.
Alright, malapit na ang Tokyo.
Meron din, sir, dagdag ko po
Sige.
yung ako isang elite na poster. So nagiging po din ako ng pasalamat sa Air Force family, sa buong AAP, sa tulong at support sa akin, sir, na wala akong maging problema sa mga papers ko at yun din nagbibigay din sila ng support moral at financial, sir. So sobrang nagpapasalamat ako sa Philippine Air Force.
Very good. Well, tayo nagpapasalamat din sa mga lahat na tumutulong sa iyo mula sa pamilya Navarro, ang Zamboanga Valientes hanggang sa Philippine Air Force. Talaga namang malaking bagay yan. Sana nga alagaan ka.
Nandito nagsusupport sa akin, sir.
Basta laban lang ng laban. Eumir, a few more questions bago tayo magtapos. Malapit na ang Tokyo. Meron ka ba bang alinlangan? Meron ka ba bang mga bagay na hindi malinaw sa iyo na medyo doon ka concerned right now sa iyong paghahanda? Meron ba bang ganoon? O ikaw ay handang-handa na, malinaw na ang iyong pag-iisip, malakas ang loob at wala ka nang kinakatakutan pagpunta mo sa Tokyo?
Sir, buong buo yung training ko, tiwala ako sa training ko, sir. At tiwala po ako sa Panginoon na kung ano yung magiging desisyon niya, siya yung magbibigay ng lakas sa akin pagdating doon sa Olympics. Kaya support yung sa akin na lang, suportahan niyo ako at ipagdasal niyo ako, sir.
Alam mo, sabi mo nga, napakalaking bagay nung nangyari sa pamilya mo, nung nawala ang iyong kapatid na si Eumir at of course ang pagkakasakit ng iyong ama. Ito ba ay isang nabanggit mo sa isang interview na ang iyong laban sa Olympics ay inaalay mo para sa iyong ama at sa iyong pamilya? Ito ba ang nagbibigay sa iyo ng lakas, Eumir, at inspirasyon para makuha ang gintong medalya sa Olympics?
Yes, sir. Sila po yung nagbibigay ng lakas sa akin, sir. Simula pa lang umpisa ako mag-boxing, sila na po yung nagbibigay ng lakas sa akin. Dahil una-una ganun din sa kahirapan ng buhay, sir, na gusto ko makaangat at makatulong sa kanila balang araw. So sila po yung naging inspirasyon ko at sila po yung nagbibigay ng lakas sa akin sa lahat ng laban ko. Simula nung SEA Games, Asian Games, World Championship at lalo-lalo na pagdating sa Olympics.
Alright. Alam mo, yan po mga kaibigan, si Eumir Marcial, ang ating Olympic boxing hopeful. Alam mo, may nabanggit pa siya na isang tanong, medyo naubusan lang tayo ng oras. Yung huli kong tanong sa kanya, sabi ko, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ba ang paglalaban mo? Is this your last amateur fight? Hindi ka na ba lalaban dahil pro ka na? Sabi niya, hindi. Hanggang kaya ko, lalaban ako para sa bansa. And what a great attitude, what a great person, yung kanyang pag-aalay ng kanyang ginagawa para sa kanyang ama at sa kanyang pamilya. And we wish Eumir Marcial all the best. Sana po ay bigyan siya ng lakas ng ating Panginoon at manalo tayo ng ating pinakamimithing gintong medalya sa Olimpiada. Kinakamusta ni Nesty Corralde si Eumir Marcial. Sabi niya, Sir Noli, namamayagpag talaga ang lakas ng Pinoy sa buong mundo. Idol Eumir Marcial, still watching live from the province of Dinagat Islands. Magandang araw po sa inyo dyan. Si Lorna Teo, happy weekend everyone. Kinakamusta ko rin si Tita Tina Tan na nakatutok sa atin ngayon. Teens, good morning. Stay safe. And of course, sa lahat po ng mga nanood sa atin ngayon, lahat po kayong lagi nakatutok tuwing Sabado sa Power and Play. Tandaan nyo bukas, Mother's Day na. Anong special na ibibigay nyo sa inyong mga ina? Napakahalaga ng ating mga ina. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers all over the world. So paano mga kaibigan, tapos na naman tayo. Susunod na po sa atin ang Inay Ko po sa 1PH on Signal TV. Kagaya po ng lagi natin sinasabi tuwing Sabado, bawal ang masungit. And of course, sa lahat po ng ating gawain, ad maiorem Dei gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Kami po ang 1PH teleserbisyo para sa Pilipino. Happy Sports Weekend mga kapatid. More power, more play.